It was supposed to be one season of waiting on God before the next door opened. That was 3 years ago. And somewhere inside those 3 years, the waiting stopped being faith and became furniture. You are no longer pressing in. You are no longer pursuing. You have simply learned to live in the waiting room as though it were your permanent address. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact moment your waiting became passivity. And I will give you 3 biblical moments that shift you back into active faith. Starting today. Not next month. Not next year. Today. Here is what nobody tells you about spiritual passivity. It does not arrive as laziness. It arrives as exhaustion. You did not decide to stop pressing in. You press in so hard for so long with so little visible result that one day the pressing stopped and the silence felt safer than another attempt that produced nothing. And then something subtle happened. You started describing the stopping using the language of faith. I am waiting on God. I am in a season of rest. I am trusting His timing. All of those things can be true, but they can also be the most spiritual sounding way of saying, I gave up. And I needed a reason that would not make me look like I gave up. David wrote Psalm 27, wait on the Lord. But David wrote that psalm while he was running from Saul, not sitting at home. He was waiting and moving at the same time. The waiting God calls you to is never passive. It is the posture of a soldier on full alert, armed, ready, moving when commanded. The war is outside the door, and some of you have been inside too long. When did you last move in faith without waiting for confirmation first? I am Henry Uzochukwu. I lead the Glory Wind Revival Movement International. Every week, I release a deep practical teachings on spiritual warfare, consecration, and walking in genuine prophetic authority. If that is what you are hungry for, subscribe right now and stay close. I want to take you back to the exact moment it happened, because it was not dramatic. Stage 1. You prayed and nothing moved. You declared. You fasted. You stood on the promise. And then the silence continued. That was the first wound. Stage 2. You tried again with less energy, but still genuine faith. And again, nothing visibly shifted. That was the second wound. Stage 3. You began praying with less conviction because experience had taught you that conviction did not seem to change the outcome. Stage 4. You made peace with the waiting. You stopped mentioning it in prayer. You stopped believing it actively. You still believe it theoretically, but the daily pressing stopped. That is the moment waiting became furniture. Not when you stopped believing, when you stopped pressing while you believed. Faith that does not produce moment is not waiting on God. It is waiting on yourself. Waiting until you feel ready enough to actually obey. Someone watching this right now has been nodding along to everything I said, processing it intellectually, and is about to file it away with every other good teaching they consumed this year. And nothing will change. Not because the teaching is wrong, but because the real issue is not information. You already know the difference between active and passive faith. You have known for a long time. Knowing is not what is missing. What is missing is the decision. The decision to stop waiting for the feeling before you pray with fire. The decision to stop waiting for the door before you move towards it. The decision to stop calling the stopping a season and admit that a season has an end date and yours has not had one in 3 years. I am not saying this to wound you. I am saying it because the person who tells you the truth is more valuable than the person who makes you feel good. You did not end up here because you were weak. You ended up here because you were tired. And tired is not a sin, but staying tired when God is offering restoration, that is a choice. And today, right now, you can make a different one. The enemy's greatest victory over your life was not a door he closed. It was the day you stopped knocking. I will say that again. The enemy's greatest victory over your life was not a door he closed. It was the day you stopped knocking. I promised you 3 specific moments. Here they are. These are not suggestions. They are assignments. Moment 1. Name the thing you stop believing for. Not in general. Specifically. The marriage, the ministry, the business, the healing, the calling, Name it out loud, not in your head. Out loud. Because passive waiting lives in vagueness. The moment you put specific name on a specific promise, faith has a target, and targeted faith is the most dangerous thing in the spirit realm. Moment 2. Identify one act of obedience you have been postponing. There is something God told you to do that you have not done. Not because you cannot, because you are waiting for more clarity, more confirmation, more courage. Deuteronomy 29 verse 29 says, the secret things belongs to God. The revealed things belongs to you. He has already revealed something. Do it this week. One act, one step, one door knocked on. Movement unlocks movement. And 3, fast with a specific assignment this week. Not a general fast, a targeted fast with a named request. I am fasting until I receive clarity on this decision. I am fasting to break the spirit of passivity over my prayer life. I am fasting because I refuse to accept that what God promised is no longer available. Named fasts carry authority that general fast do not. James 2 verse 26, I want us to read. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without work is dead also. Faith without work is dead also. What has your faith produced in the last 3 months? The prodigal son did not receive restoration while he was sitting in the pig pen thinking about home. Luke 15:20 says, he arose. He got up. He started moving. While he was still great way off, the father saw him and ran to meet him. The father ran while the son was still far, but the son had to be moving for the father to have somewhere to run towards. You have been waiting for him to run first. He has been waiting for you to get up. Get up! Before I close, I am not speaking to the room right now. I am speaking to one person. You came into this season on fire. You had vision. You had momentum. You had a sense of where God was taking you. That was so clear, it feels like you could touch it. And then the waiting began. And the fire got lowered. and the vision got quieter. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, you became a quieter version of the person God originally commissioned. And you have been grieving that quietly in private. I decree over you right now, that fire is not gone. It was preserved. God does not waste what He ignited. He protects it through the seasons that would have destroyed it. The passivity you fell into was not betrayal. It was exhaustion. And God does not condemn exhausted soldiers. He restores them. I decree right now, restoration is moving towards you. Not when you feel ready. Now, while you are still far off, you must arise. Say this out loud. I arise from this passive season. The waiting that become furniture, I dismantle it today. I name what I am believing for. I move towards what God revealed. I am a person of active faith. My movement begins today in Jesus' mighty name. We just identify the moment your waiting become passivity and gave you the 3 movements that shift you back into active faith today. But there is a season where active faith tried and it looks almost impossible. And that is when what God promised you is closer than you think. In the video up here, I shared with you signs that shows that the promise that God made to you is closer than you think. Watch it right now. Subscribe. Turn on the notification button that when I drop video, you will be the first to be notified. God bless you. See you next week.